Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to another Kiss of War video. My name is Eagle, and we are a sponsored content creator for Kiss of War. In this video, we're going to be doing some highlight clips of the best uses of the Governor skill in SVS. I have some clips shared with me from Server 30 of the uses of the Governor skill, and I can tell you right now, it is epic. We're going to be viewing those clips in this video, and we're going to be analyzing them for any mistakes and some epic battles that happened in those clips. And we're going to be telling you guys if this skill has been applied to you, how to actually get away with it with the minimum losses if that happened to you. So if you like these types of videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video. We are super close to 2,000 subscribers, so I would absolutely love it if you guys could reach that milestone. I'm pretty sure we can reach it with you and your support. Thank you so much for showing us your support lately, and let's get right into it. So for the first clip, we have Zhukov from RP, I believe that's server 23. He is basically, what's happening over here is that he is attacking some farm accounts from alt. I believe those are farm accounts or small bases that he can actually solo. The main thing to notice here is that he is not on his territory. So if you don't know how this works, basically once you attack an enemy, the fanatic effect starts on your base. If you have a town or like a base of 25 levels or level 25 base, then that would last for 16 minutes. So you will not be able to use any shield for 16 minutes. Now the way that the Governor skill works is that it doesn't allow you to teleport anywhere, but it doesn't affect the shields. So if you have fanatic and a Governor skill is used on you, you cannot teleport nor shield. Now once he attacks that base, that means fanatic is on, and if you use the Government skill, as we'll see right now, so in 2 seconds right now, the Governor skill has landed. As you guys can see, that's the animation, and this guy cannot teleport nor shield up. Immediately Dog Alliance starts teleporting in. They start all their bases starts teleporting in. They start preparing to attack this guy. Remember, the Governor skill only lasts for 10 minutes, so you have to be quick about it. We are seeing right now some huge collaboration from the teammates, and this coordination, by the way, is amazing, because getting like 20 players on at that specific second and then immediately letting them teleport, and then, hey guys, like we're gonna attack this guy right now, we're gonna zero him. That's high amounts of coordination. Now this guy is about 73 million power, has 73 million power. That means he has a lot of tier 5s. I'm expecting in the realm of probably 4 million tier 5s, 3 to 4 million tier 5s, which is a huge amount. He probably has some tier 4s as well. We'll not be able to see the reports. I didn't manage to get them, but the swarming starts right now. This is 73 million player over here, and he is using Chloe as first and Grace for defense. Now this is not the best defense that you should be going for. Chloe is not really a good defender. Grace is amazing against swarming, which is happening right now. Now they are swarming him with huge amounts of troops. Like every one of these guys is swarming with 5 marches, and there's probably over the more than 30 to 40, more than 40 marches over there, judging by the amount of troops. Now, as I said, Chloe and Grace are not the best defensive like officers to use against that. I would have changed Chloe with Natalia or Abigail, or even Ophelia. That would have been much better than Chloe over there, and it would have inflicted even more damage to the swarming troops. But at this rate, you really cannot do anything. This is a huge mistake. So the first mistake is being on enemy territory without backup. So being alone in enemy territory, you could definitely be swarmed even without the Governor skill. So it's not really a great idea teleporting inside the enemy territory, or a neutral territory on your own. You have to have some backup. You have to have at least 5 to 10 players teleporting with you, just in case something like this happens. Now, micro optimization for the offense team. I understand that they're trying to zero him as fast as possible, but I would wait for a rally. Like 4 minutes over there is not a huge time. you would lose like the least amount of troops in that time. So 4 minutes rally is not a huge time, and I would wait for the rally to hit so that you can optimize the troop losses. But if you have that amount of players attacking that player, especially with those officers on defense, then it's actually not a huge deal. I mean, you can have some troops to spare, and that would be basically fine. But just micro optimization would have actually been better to rally him at least the first time. Now, this player has been zeroed, as you guys might have seen, and basically that was the first clip. Let's move on now to the second one. In the second clip, we're seeing over here SgtHawkins from RP as well. Basically, if you don't know what happened in Server 30, SVS, basically Server 30 dominated the Biozone, they took the Pentagon, and they took over also, like, they zeroed a lot of players over there. These are like, this is one of the players that has been zeroed as well. So apparently they waited for this player to go on fanatic mode as well. They immediately used their the government skill on him, and now they are preparing all the marches to swarm him. So as I'm saying right now, they are using a Grace on defense. I do believe that it's a Grace Natalia, and this is, by the way, an 82 million player. That means that there are at least 3.5 to 4 million T5s over there, which is a huge amount, but they are melting those T5s. So as you guys can see, Natalia and Grace are over there. Now, if we were to optimize this scenario over here, first things first, for Natalia and Grace, the healing will be huge. So first thing, I wouldn't be swarming the space, because as you might have seen, a lot of these swarming troops have been damaged. I understand that the player is actually zeroed, but the damages could have been reduced significantly if they started with a rally, for example, a Chloe Ophelia rally, and then they followed up with the swarming troops. Even though swarming this base is always going to hurt, because Natalia and Grace have extremely high counterattack, and they're going to be hitting those marches very hard, especially with that huge amount of troops. But as you see, this base has already fallen down to 58 million power. So this is only probably a 500k troops left in there. And there's nothing you can do, to be honest, when you're stuck in that scenario. To micro optimize this attack as well, I would use buffers and debuffers, especially against Natalia, to reduce the healing, because you don't want her to be healing more troops, and this way would be even losing more troops in the fight. So I would be using a combination of Link and Diana, and also I would be using some healers like on the side, for example, like Evelyn and Angel, to buff the swarming troops that are fighting over there. And if there's a rally, then if it buffs the rally, then that would be insane as well. So I would be using 2 or 3 marches of those scattered around the base to buff as many as of those swarming marches, especially in the beginning. Like right now, this player is zeroed, but in the beginning of the fight, this would definitely reduce the casualties and increase the basically the performance of this fight. Now this guy is down to 54 million at this point. He's trying to heal some troops in the garage, but it's not really working out. He's mostly just zeroed at this point. And as you're like seeing right now, this is like a huge account being taken out, and oh man, this is gonna be costing a lot to like get back to where he was at that point. Because these 4 million troops that were lost over there are just a huge amount of resources and money and whatnot. But it is what it is, and as you know, teleporting in enemy territory is never a good idea, so this is what you shouldn't be doing in order to avoid that. Now in the third clip, we have something very interesting, and we will share that with you, so stay tuned. So here's the third clip, and it's actually extremely unique because the governor's skill does not only apply to one singular base, rather than multiple bases, especially if they are gathered or clustered in this form over here. You can just place the governor skill right in between those bases and you would affect all of them together. Now, one of these bases has already shielded up, so it will not be zeroed or attacked even, but the other two are being attacked right now. Now, if you see what's going on over here, the other base, like this is actually not the enemy territory rather than their actual territory. And I believe those are server 21. Judging from the guild name, some of those players are starting to reinforce those bases just to like decrease the casualties. That's a good idea, just not the most ideal thing to do, especially because that like these like what's going on right now is that you'll just literally lose more troops, especially if the enemy is prepared for that. Now, what to do in this scenario? We had like the governor skill was used on me in this exact scenario. And by the way, Ophelia and Maria are not a great combo for defense, especially against swarming, because as you guys can see, this space is being swarmed by like 30 plus marches. So Maria and Ophelia do not perform well against swarming at all. I would go always with a Grace Natalia combination. That's the best combination against swarming so far in the game. So if you're being swarmed, immediately go with that like combination. Otherwise, you could try different combinations. If you're being only rallied, like a singular rally, then that's fine. You can try different combinations. But if you're being swarmed like that, never try this combination. It will not work. As you guys can see, this player just got melted over there. And yeah, he's basically down to 55.8 mil, probably zero, probably has like a couple more troops over there. But yeah, now they're going to start with the other base that has been captured. It's a 67 mil base, probably has 2 mil to 3 mil troops, a lot of tier 5s as well. So they're using Natalia, which is better than the one before. Let's see who's the second officer. It's Grace and Natalia, so that's going to even perform better than the one before. If you look at the HP of the different marches that are swarming the base right now, it's going lower with time, and they're taking a lot of damage. So the counter attack damage is ranging between 1.5k to 2k, and now it's decreasing, obviously, because the troop count is decreasing as well. But it's actually dealing a lot of counterattack damage, and this is exactly what you want to be doing if you're trying to defend your base against swarming troops. Now, a lot of things could have actually happened over here in order for them to actually save their troops. How would have like these two bases react better? Of course, if they are online in the first place, how would have they reacted better to this situation? Now, first things first, you are in your territory. There are probably 10 other bases of your allies that are next to you, but you only need 5 bases, because what you need to be doing is that the garage capacity in SVS is doubled, meaning that it could reach up to 700k, even a little bit more than that. If you have a warship maxed out in terms of garage capacity, it could reach up to 720k. 720k is a big amount of troops. So what you need to do is keep 720k in your base. Use a 50% troop capacity increase and move 5 of your most capable marches of holding the most amount of troops out of the base by reinforcing allies that are next to you. Make sure that once you're reinforcing the allies, not going to a very far ally, otherwise these like that specific march can be swarmed and basically dead. And always make sure to do that very quickly once the immediate, like the second that the government skill is activated on you, so that you would have time to react and continue the plan. Once you have 5 marches out, let's say each march can hold up to 290 to 300k. That would be like, let's say if it's 300k, then 300 multiplied by 5, that's 1.5 mil. Adding to that, the 700k that the garage can hold, that is basically 2.2 million troops. Now, if you could save up to 2.2 million troops without having to lose a single one of them, then that's amazing. And this is exactly what you should do, and this is exactly what I did. Now, basically, my base had 2.3 million troops, so I was able to save the majority of the troops. That wasn't, like, I only lost probably a 50k troops or something, which is kind of irrelevant. That's completely fine. Especially because this is a dangerous, like you could be zeroed. So having that situation happen is much better than actually being zeroed. Now, what you could also do, just to optimize that even a little and basically screw the enemies, what I did is I bought 280 fireworks, meaning that I spent 280 million of my resources that were in the base, so that the enemies will not be able to even take a single bit of resources that I had in the base. So I did not lose any troops, or I lost like a little, like very small amount of troops, and nobody took my resources. I basically turned them into fireworks, and I started doing fireworks as well, just to celebrate my victory against the government skill that has been used. And this is what should have actually been or happened in this specific situation over here. If you are in enemy territory and you want to try this mechanic, it's very hard. You will need a lot of ally bases teleporting to you immediately after the skill is activated on you, which is kind of very hard because you need like high coordination and reaction time. If you are on voice with your allies, then that would be amazing. You can just call them immediately and they would jump once you get hit with a governor skill. And this is basically what we were doing. We were on voice all day, and whenever something like that would happen, we would immediately jump to support, reinforce if needed, or even just be there shielded up so that he can actually, someone can actually reinforce our bases and get away with that as well. So it's highly recommended to do exactly this tactic once the governor skill is activated on you. If you are in enemy territory and you get stuck over there, then that's a huge issue. This is why I highly recommend going out in clusters if you're trying to attack enemy territory. So go out in 10 bases or something, cluster together, so that even if they use the governor skill on you, you would be able to still jump in between bases and save your troops. That was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like on the video. I would absolutely love and appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you on the next one. As always, Eagle out.